Today I want to show you how you can rank. Today I want to show you how I'm going to use Autoblogging.AI to build a massive legal niche website in order to rank on Google and then sell those leads and then generate high value leads for local lawyers. Now, many people when setting about with AI content, they're all hammering out this sort of low competition info content that's high volume but doesn't actually have a lot of value. So that means any banner ad revenue you get is going to be very low. I've made this mistake before. I built a spirituality site with more than 1 million words on it, more than 500 pages, all handwritten by experts. And yet, for more than 1,000 visitors per day, we were only getting something like 20 cents in ad revenue, even using Ezoic. So you have multiple options there. You could carry on, keep growing, and then sign up for Mediavine and AdThrive. But really, generally, I tend to prefer smaller websites that focus on high-value niches. And this especially applies if you're actually one of these businesses and you intend to take those leads and actually serve them yourself. Now, with Autoblogging and mass AI content, I think location keywords are actually a really good opportunity. Now, yes, most of these search terms will have the local map pack at the top, and therefore that takes some of the traffic. But in some of these niches, the organic results do come ahead of the map pack, so you can still get to number one. Then, even then, those below the map pack do still get some traffic. And then if you were to build a proper business around this, then there's a chance you can get GMBs, so Google Business Listings, actually verified in all those locations and have some sort of franchise or basically build your empire. So the way I always see it is content is so easy to generate now. If you're building these assets, building these websites, then why not go for the gold? Go for the ultimate high value niches where you could actually build a business out of it. So I have a list of keywords I found for lawyers. And so what I want to do is identify good domain names that I can get for these terms. So I've exported these from AHREFS. And now what I do is I go to Online Space Remover, and it's this one by MiniWebTool, and we say remove all spaces. And this allows me to find which of these keywords have .com domains available. Now all of these keywords are high value keywords with some volume because I filtered them from AHREFS. Then we go to name.com/names, and now we paste them all in here. And I'm only interested in the .com. If you want to expand, you can, but I always prefer .com. This is the kind of thing where there's too much opportunity. You can't buy all the domain names out there, so you might as well only buy the most valuable ones. So stick with .com, it's the king. So now in bulk, we can take our full keyword list and identify which .coms are available. So salary is one. Obviously, that's not really the right niche. Corporate lawyer, average salary. That's not people searching for a corporate lawyer. Now you see a lot of these are premium, like plantexplosionlawyer.com, obviously really good keyword, $14,000. So what we want to do is try and find those that are only $12. So lawyerslipandfullcase.com, I quite like that one. And I think in my spreadsheet, these are sorted in order of traffic value. Yep, as you can see. So volume's kind of all over the place, but they're all above 100, 150 searches per month in the US. But we're mainly sorting by CPC, which means CPC in a keyword tool is basically the cost of that traffic if you got it with Google Ads. If you were paying for Google Ads, some of these would be $50, $70, $80 per click. So we know that these top keywords are going to be the most valuable, and therefore any traffic we get to this website using the AI content, the leads are going to be very valuable. But even if we can't get somewhere to sell the leads, just the banner ad revenue alone should also be much better, because banner ad revenue is again decided by CPCs and what merchants are willing to pay for impressions on that traffic. So lawyeraftercaraccident.com, that's pretty good. Electrocutionaccidentlawyer.com, wrongfuldeathlawyersacramento.com. So what I want to do, because I'm doing a mass AI website using location pages, I basically want a generic niche, so something like lawyerslipandfullcase.com, and then I'm going to hit it with all the location pages, so it ranks for lawyer slip and full case, New York, Los Angeles, etc. Very important when you're doing this to watch out for misspellings, because keyword tools do present the misspellings people use. So here you can see constructionaccidentlawyer.com, and you think, great, actually it's constructionacientlawyer.com. So I've made that mistake before. Don't buy domain names for misspellings, unless of course you want to target that misspelling. That can work. So overall, having gone through the list, I can see the $12 domains that are still available, the highest in the list and therefore the highest CPC, lawyerslipandfullcase.com, lawyer after car accident.com. Lawyer slip and fall case, that might not seem particularly human readable, but it's fine. It has the keywords in the domain. So if we look at the exact match, so if we look at exactly what lawyer slip and fall case gets, volume of 150 a month, so not bad. Cost per click, $80. Traffic potential, 7,400. But now we can see the location keywords, for instance, slip and fall lawyer Los Angeles. So what I want to do, you can see the kinds of search results we could potentially rank in here. So yes, we have the local pack at the top. And the challenge is more going to be that generally Google seems to prefer actual local businesses in those locations. But there is an exception because we do still have the Yelps, Forbes. So basically, if you have a high domain rating, you can bypass that. So I've got a high quality link building agency where we intend to get your DR up as high as possible in a fast and a cost effective way. So just because we've got a few small local firms ranking, I'm still confident that with a mass page website, we can actually get a national site actually ranking for location keywords. So again, just verifying the niche. If I search slip and fall lawyer and go to terms match view all, then we can see we've got near me, best slip and fall lawyer, Philadelphia, New York, Sacramento. All of these have got really high volume. So keyword difficulty of 0. I don't really believe in keyword difficulty, but if we just look at the Sacramento one, $50 per click, 450 searches per month. So if we come down here, again, local pack at the top. To a lot of people, that's quite off-putting because it's very difficult to actually verify a GMB unless you have physical locations. But maybe there's no reason we can't actually open physical locations down the line if we start getting this traffic. But the point is, we've got DRs of 8, 18, 19, 30, 20. These are not competitive search terms. If we take out the fact that it does seem to be actual local businesses that rank, but even these ones below the local pack, the traffic value is between $10,000 and $15,000 per month. So I'm happy with that risk profile. That yes, some of these I might just not rank, but equally for those that I do rank in, even a small amount of traffic is going to be very valuable. So hopefully I can find partnerships to sell those leads to. But alternatively, I could probably just slap on banner ads and still get a decent amount of money. But the point is, we're doing this with AI, so I intend to build this website in about 10 minutes. So first of all, we need to get that domain. Now, I don't actually use name.com. I use my own Namecheap because it's cheaper. So I search for it here. It's still available, so it's $10.28 rather than $11.99. Not a big saving, but I like to keep all my domains in one place anyway. Now, I'm also going to go back and get that car accident one, lawyeraftercaraccident.com, because let's face it, that's not a niche that's going away anytime soon. I'm quite tempted by the mesothelioma lawyer niche, which is the asbestos disease. It's very tragic, and the payouts. So when preparing the site for Autoblogging, the main plugin you need is the JSON Basic Authentication plugin. So you can just upload it, and that will allow external services like Autoblogging to upload content. Next up, we're going to do some keyword research. So you can use a mix of the actual Google search or simply going straight into AHREFS. But the main strategy with this site is basically just location pages. So if we go to Keywords Explorer, now what I'm hoping is we can find just a general directory similar to ours that has basically covered every single location page. So let's look at slip and fall lawyer Los Angeles. So that's probably one of the keywords we want. So this looks like a good one, lawlink.com. Okay, so simply by going into the AHREFS Keyword Explorer, putting in slip and fall lawyer, we can now see all the different locations and related keywords like best slip and fall lawyer, near me. So I'm just going to go through and tick off a load of these. Now, what you notice about these keywords is they've got decent volume, in theory a low difficulty, but very high CPCs, which is why I think it's such a good case for autoblogging. Now I'm just making a mental note here of a lot of these locations are doubled up. So I'm just making a mental note of the locations I've already done so that we don't duplicate. If you do duplicate, it's not the end of the world because autoblogging credits are so cheap. Okay, so that's page 1. I simply add that to my list. Now you can see already the traffic potential is coming down quite significantly. For a high ticket niche like this, I'd probably go down to around 20, 30, something like that. AHREFS does underestimate, especially at the lower volumes. And remember, if we're going to do 100 of these keywords, then in aggregate, there's still a lot of volume and a lot of value there. Watch out for keyword variations that are still relevant to the to the brand, because yes, we're doing location pages, but slip and fall settlement without a lawyer, that's still a pretty good extra keyword to include. Should I get a lawyer for a slip and fall? That's a good one. These are the kinds of questions that build your topical relevance, so still important to have. Now, of course, I'm only looking at slip and fall lawyer. There's probably going to be some decent volume for plurals as well as a singular, attorney versus lawyer, things like that. But I'm not going to do that because my domain name is just slip and fall lawyer. So I'm going to focus purely on the lawyer aspect, but then Autoblogging will also include attorney, lawyer, etc. as variations within that content. So I know that I'm still addressing the same search intent. People will use lawyer versus attorney interchangeably. So I'm only going to go for one of them as my actual title and focus keyword, but I know I'm going to pick up the alternative anyway. But as my domain name is optimized for lawyer, let's go with lawyer so we get that unfair advantage of the keyword-rich domain name. Now already this is only page 2 of AHREFS, but we're getting to a point where the data is getting a bit thin. There's no longer any CPC coming through, the volume's getting pretty low, but we'll keep going for now. And these are actually the opportunities. I don't honestly expect to rank for slip and fall lawyer, New York, Los Angeles, but Grain Valley, MO, Austin, Kansas, these smaller keywords, these are where I really expect I might pick up some unexpected wins. So this is where it's getting pretty interesting and pretty niche. Cherry Hill, slip and fall lawyer, St. Joseph. So ranking for just a few of these could actually pay for the site entirely. And you can see here I've gone on a spree where we've got Boca Raton, Lakeland, Riverside, Spring Hill, Fort Walton. So I've just gone through, I want all of them, because yes, they've only got 50 each, traffic potential 30, 20, 60, 10, 20. But if you add all that up, I'd be willing to bet this $50 CPC will apply to all of them, and the actual volumes are going to be much higher than that. Remember, we've got to throw in attorneys, plural, all the variations on that keyword as well. So each of these I expect, I don't trust AHREFS at these levels. I think if we write that content and rank for it, Search Console will show us much higher volume, as will our bank balance and income. So we're now up to 60 keywords in the slip and fall keyword list, and I'm currently 10 minutes into the video. So I'm pretty happy with this keyword list so far. I've got 77 keywords with a total volume of 26,000. There probably is a bit of duplication in there, but I'm not too worried. If you are worried, you can just run it through ChatGPT and say remove any duplicate locations. Now I want to add in some more informational queries about slip and fall lawyers, because we want some topical authority. If Google sees we're just location pages, Google's got this thing about what it calls doorway pages, where basically if the only purpose of your site is to take people from Google and send them somewhere else, then they're going to tank you. Whereas if we provide detailed information, become like an encyclopedia all about slip and fall legal cases, then that's much better for us. So next, I'm going to go back into Keywords Explorer. In fact, no, let's find I'm just going to put slip and fall, and I'm actually going to go down to questions. Typically, there's not many of these, so how much money does Walmart settle for slip and fall accidents? Okay, I think 200 people a month in the US are feeling a bit litigious. What to do after a slip and fall accident? How long do you have to report? How much is pain and suffering worth? How much settlement is calculated? So these are all pretty good queries. How much is a case worth? When to go to how long do the settlements take? How to sue? Who is liable? How to settle? Again, you'll find there's a lot of overlap here, so try and only pick one keyword per question. Make sure you're addressing the search intent once, basically. So you see what to do after a slip and fall. We've seen that repeated in loads of different variations. How many slip and fall cases go to trial? That's a good one. How to file a slip and fall claim in New Jersey? That's an interesting one. Okay, I think we've pretty much exhausted that. So only 15 keywords, but that just adds a bit more meat to our site. Now I'm just going to look at broader injury lawyer terms. I don't want to do location pages for that, but personal injury, yeah. In fact, let's look at personal injury. Okay, so again, mostly a lot of overlap, but I've added a few in there. So we now have 100 keywords there, so we can export that. And now we go to Autoblogging.AI. And first we want to go to bulk generate and do a test article push. Okay, so I added all my details there, and we can now send a test post. So now if I go to my posts, and yes, we can see that test has just come through now. So we're all good to go. Let's load up Autoblogging.AI. So here we have our full keyword list downloaded from AHREFS, and I'm simply going to take the top 50 to start off with, because Autoblogging.AI now works in batches of 50. So we enter our article titles in here. make sure that they're all on one line. If they form separate lines, then you're going to get 2 half articles and be charged twice. So it's slip and fall 1. US language, automatic length, I'm happy with that. Let's go with AI image just for the fun of it. And now we enter our details again here. Now, when it comes to categories, that depends on how you're doing with clustering and siloing. So the way content siloing works is basically, again, like I was saying, Google is just a machine. And if you've got a massive website with lots of different categories and all those categories intermix, that can get quite confusing to Google. It can struggle to see the connection between your articles and might miss out a lot of them because Google's only got a limited crawl budget. So it wants to try and scan your site as efficiently as possible. So if it's being sent all over the place, it's going to get confused and probably ignore you. From Chiang Mai SEO, there was a lot of talk about actually having smaller, denser websites where basically you want to make things as efficient as possible for Google, which kind of counteracts the idea of mass AI content sites. But the main thing is, again, this relevance and siloing. So this has been a thing for years where basically you want all your categories to be closely contained. So you basically want all your articles within a certain category to all interlink together and not interlink to other categories, apart from in the menus in your header and footer. So that's the basic concept. Now there's this idea of virtual silos versus physical silos. So you can actually have a URL structure where basically if you're an insurance company, you've got home insurance, pet insurance, you might have /home insurance / blocks of flats, or you might, for pets, you might have /pet insurance /dogs /pet insurance /cats /pet insurance /other animals, etc. Both work. Now, I would always prefer to do actual silos within the URL, but the limitation of that is you basically need, so for a big site, I would generally go for that URL structure. It's not essential, and you can do what are called virtual silos where you don't have that URL structure, but you make sure your articles very closely interlink together within the same category. So you still maintain that idea of we have these clusters and they don't interlink. So with Autoblogging.AI, if you are working through multiple different categories, so in this case, if I were doing a massive legal site and slip and fall only one section, then I could actually have a category ID where basically I can go into my permalinks, which is in settings, then permalinks. Now by default, WordPress very annoyingly will often use either the date or a post ID as the URL. You want to change that and you want to set it to post name, but you can also do a custom structure where, for instance, you put the category before the post name. So that way, if you're doing a massive legal site, let's take out that double slash and put another slash here. If you do this, then if you have a massive legal site and you've got a category of car accidents and then a category of slip and fall, then you'll have /car accident /Atlanta or /personal injury /New York. And that's how you can create those silos. So if you are doing that, that's where this category section comes in. We can basically add the category ID in order to make sure all the articles you're producing go into that same category. So how would you do that? Basically go to posts and then categories, and then you will see, if you go to view here, now you should be able to see in the bottom preview, this currently says $taxonomy equals category and tag ID equals 2. So the ID of that category is 2. If we go to uncategorized and edit, tag ID 1. So that's basically how you identify what the WordPress ID is for all your categories. And it's that number that you can add into Autoblogging.AI here. But in my case, I'm generally a fan of doing quite tight sites, not doing these massive sites with multiple categories. Generally, I prefer to go quite niche, use an exact match domain, and address only one micro niche, basically. And that's exactly what I'm doing with slip and fall lawyers. Even if I were to break this up into categories, there's not that many categories I could actually go for. So I could have locations and then potentially more sort of Q&A info content. But when we're doing the keyword research, there are only around 20 questions versus 80 or so locations. So I don't think that really warrants 2 separate categories. I'm just going to put them all on the raw domain and link them all together because location pages will benefit from linking to the info pages. So I'm just going to leave this blank. Status, let's go straight for publish, why not? Custom HTML at the end of the article. Now I had a question about this the other day. Now, I wouldn't actually worry about this because author schema can be useful, especially for EEAT. If you are mass producing AI content, you want to give Google lots of information that this is a real person, real author, even though it's not. But I wouldn't actually do it from Autoblogging.AI because then every page on your site will have that schema in it. And if you wanted to do any updates, you'd have to edit every page on that site manually. Whereas if you're using a plugin like RankMath, you can actually go in and set your author schema centrally. So with RankMath, you can actually go and set your author schema centrally, apply it to all your blog posts, but then if you want to edit it in future, you just go to that author in RankMath and just change it in there, and it'll update everything at once, rather than having to go through page by page. So I'm happy with this. Don't think I need multiple premium AI images. Loads of people are always asking me, how important are images for SEO? Often we'll look at Surfer templates and it says you need 12 images. Honestly, I don't worry too much. Images might improve your Surfer score a little bit, but the amount of effort to get a decent image and what it's going to do to your site speed, things like that, everything I'm doing and have done for years is just pure text on the page. And then only 20% of your content is going to give you 80% of your traffic. So if you've got 100 posts and you want to optimize all of them perfectly, that's a massive nightmare for you. So what I tend to do is do that 100 posts just as plain text, just get it out there. And then in 6 months' time, you'll identify those winners that are really starting to get traffic and make those good pages. So edit them, put images in, all of that. Don't worry about trying to do it all from the start. Even the creators of Surfer, they say, go for a minimum score of 70, but once you're above 70, you're kind of into diminishing returns. If you're tirelessly optimizing, trying to get it up to 100, you might never reach 100. It's only going to take an hour or so to reach 70, but then several more hours to get it up to 90, 100 plus. Having said that, my Surfer AI process makes that much faster. So you can find some links below on how I do that. Basically, it now only takes me 10 minutes to produce a perfect article in Surfer that fulfills all of my requirements. So personally, I'm not that worried about images. We're going to try out the AI image just for the featured image, but otherwise I'm not worried about having multiple images throughout the article. Okay, so this is good to go. Now remember, only click it once so you don't get charged twice. And now go back to our spreadsheet and add in the remaining. So we can see here I'm up to 49. So let's take this up to 99, and then we'll just need one more for the final few. Slip and full 2. These are all the same settings as before. Okay, let's go. And then one more, slip and full 3, and we're done. Okay, so that's my process for publishing AI content. And now we'll see over the next few weeks how that actually performs. Don't forget to like, subscribe, join my Ranking Revelations newsletter if you go to SEOJesus.com. If you do want to acquire about Done For You, you can apply there. We've got a range of services available. But if you want extra free insights, go to Ranking Revelations newsletter and sign up there. Any further questions, let me know in the comments.